USA, the disruption of normal trade with China has forced many of them.
Raising tariffs to prevent China from shipping many of their goods into the United States.
We've heard from Trump 60% tariffs on China, specifically 10%.
China has announced a ban on exports to the United States of critical materials, including...
Seen a lot of countries, not just the US, but China.
Picture this. You're a farmer in the United States, your vast fields stretching as far as the eye can see. These lands have been tended by your family for generations, and your survival has long depended on one key element: China's unwavering appetite for your produce. Then, out of the blue, you hear the shocking news. Your major customer, responsible for a staggering $164 billion in trade, has pulled out without any prior notice. No warning, no dialogue, just gone. This isn't merely a rough patch, it's a colossal disruption. And this wasn't an accident or an isolated incident. No, it's part of a far-reaching plan, one that's changing the global trade dynamic, dismantling traditional power hierarchies and forcing nations to rethink who holds sway over the global system. So why did China do this? Grasping the reasoning behind this move is crucial because it holds the key to all the other answers. Let's break it down. Our story starts with the US-China trade war. If you missed it, it was an all-out confrontation marked by heavy tariffs. The US imposed extensive tariffs on Chinese imports in an attempt to push China into submission. But China didn't cave in. Instead, they hit where it would hurt most: US agriculture. Why agriculture, you ask? It's because agriculture is the backbone of rural America. And here's the twist: rural states have substantial political influence. By hitting American farmers, China wasn't just retaliating economically, they were sending a strong political message to Washington. This wasn't just an economic decision, it was a calculated political maneuver. Let's take a look at soybeans. These small yet influential crops play a crucial role. Before the trade conflict, around 60% of US soybean exports went to China. That amounted to billions of dollars annually. When China cut off that trade, it wasn't just a financial hit, it was like yanking the rug out from under an entire industry. But here's the twist: China didn't just leave a hole in the market, they took advantage of the situation, preparing for what lay ahead. They understood a critical point: putting all their eggs in one basket with an unpredictable supplier like the US was a massive risk. So they shifted their approach. They spread out their options. Instead of depending on just the US, they started to explore alternatives. This wasn't a temporary fix, it was part of a broader, long-term strategy to minimize their reliance on any one country, ensuring they wouldn't face this kind of vulnerability in the future. Now the big question: who stepped up to fill the void left by the US? Before we continue, we'd love your feedback. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into China's global influence, reach, and development. Let's continue. Here come the new contenders in global agriculture: Brazil and Argentina. As China backed away from US farmers, South America saw an opportunity to fill the gap. Brazil didn't just enter China's market, it took over. With vast and fertile lands, alongside a rapidly expanding agricultural sector, Brazil was primed for growth. However, the moment the trade war started, Brazil took its strategy to the next level. Here's what they did. Brazil boosted its soybean production significantly. Farmers expanded their operations, increased yields, and ramped up exports. On top of that, Brazil invested heavily in infrastructure, enhancing port facilities, improving roads, and optimizing their distribution channels, all aimed at facilitating the movement of goods to China. By 2023, Brazil didn't just compete in China's market, it had become the world's leading soybean exporter, setting new records and locking in a permanent spot in China's agricultural trade. Let's not overlook Argentina. While smaller than Brazil, Argentina played an essential supporting role. The country zeroed in on corn, wheat, and other grains, positioning itself as a dependable supplier for China. Together, Brazil and Argentina not only replaced the US as China's prime suppliers, but they also began to surpass it in some areas. But here's the twist: China wasn't only buying from South America, they were also investing in it. Beijing poured capital into Brazil's infrastructure, funded agricultural initiatives, and forged long-term trade deals, effectively sidelining US suppliers. Pause and think about this. China didn't just find new suppliers, they built lasting partnerships, developed strong ties, and ensured their future food security. But what is China's ultimate plan here? Is it all about saving money, or is there something bigger going on? The answer is evident. China isn't just thinking short-term, they're strategizing for the long haul. This isn't merely a tactic to navigate tariffs or save on soybean costs. This is a matter of national security. With 1.4 billion people to feed, China knows that food security isn't just an economic concern, it's a fundamental priority, and they're acutely aware of the dangers in relying on any single supplier. Thus, China diversified its sources. While Brazil and Argentina became key players, China also started looking towards Eastern Europe, Africa, and Southeast Asia. By building a more diverse food supply network across different regions, China ensures no single nation can monopolize its agricultural needs. And there's more. While looking abroad, China has also begun innovating at home. From vertical farming in urban areas to cutting-edge AI technology in irrigation, China is advancing agricultural practices that many others are yet to embrace. They're investing in climate-resilient crops, robotic harvesting, and genetic advancements. In simpler terms, they're crafting the future of farming. Let's not forget the Belt and Road Initiative. While commonly seen as a grand infrastructure project, it's also driving agricultural advancements. China has helped countries like Ethiopia and Zambia modernize their farming techniques, offering support in exchange for reliable food sources. This global network isn't just about securing crops, it's a broader strategy to solidify China's future influence and global standing. Controlling food means controlling your future. Through these global alliances, China is ensuring its influence remains resilient, no matter how the political climate changes. Back in the US, however, the situation is dire. What happens when a pivotal industry loses its largest customer? Sadly, the outlook is grim. Visualize this: soybean fields left to wither in silos due to a lack of buyers. Tractors left unused because farming is no longer financially viable. Small towns slowly vanishing as farmers go bankrupt. This isn't just speculation. It's happening right now. Over 2,000 farms went bankrupt just a year after China severed its ties. Entire farming communities started to disintegrate. Schools shut their doors, local businesses folded, and families fled in search of new opportunities. It's not just about lost income, it's about the loss of an entire way of life. Farming isn't merely a job. It's a way of life, a fundamental aspect of rural America. Losing that means losing a part of their identity. The increasing rate of farmer suicides serves as a tragic reminder of the ongoing crisis. For those attempting to adapt, the road ahead is difficult. Yes, some are exploring new markets in Europe or Asia, but rebuilding those connections takes time, something they simply don't have. With Brazil and Argentina solidifying their positions in China's market, the competition has become even fiercer. So, can American agriculture recover, or has it reached the end of its once dominant reign? The truth: recovery is possible, but it's going to require extraordinary effort. Farmers will need to diversify, tap into new markets, and forge new alliances. Innovation will be essential. Embracing precision farming, focusing on climate-resilient crops, and prioritizing sustainability aren't just optional, they're imperative. The US still possesses the resources and technology, but they need to use them effectively. But let's face it, this isn't going to be easy. While the US works on rebuilding, Brazil, Argentina, and China are already far ahead. The real question is whether the US can recover. Not just whether it can recover, but whether it can adapt to the fast-evolving global agricultural landscape. China's bold decision to sever ties with US agriculture wasn't just a trade tactic. It was a strategic move that exposed US vulnerabilities, boosted South American agriculture, and cemented China's growing global dominance. This isn't merely about soybeans or trade disputes. It's about power dynamics, survival, and the shifting tides of global influence. China is playing the long game, and so far, they're winning. The US, they're still trying to catch up. We'd like to take a moment to thank you for your insightful comments and feedback. Your thoughts always resonate with us. So, will America adapt, or will it be left behind as the world progresses? Is China truly immune to sanctions, or will they eventually face consequences? Share your thoughts in the comments. Was sanctioning the right choice? Want to watch more videos like this? Like, share, and subscribe for exclusive content on China's rise and its global clout. Until next time, stay tuned.